What's up, all wrestling fans? As we all know, WrestleMania 35 has recently passed, and I want to talk about this for something that's been bothering me a bit, and that is that, let's be honest, Ronda versus Becky versus Charlotte was underwhelming. No, wasn't a bad match. It was a good match. There was some good wrestling, but it wasn't what it should have been. It wasn't as good as it should have been. And what I mean by that is, very rarely, like in the last decade or longer in WWE, have we had a storyline this good and this kind of like length throughout a year, build up and end at WrestleMania. Like, when I grew up watching wrestling, WrestleMania was the event where we'd have this like one or two big rivalries happening throughout the year, like maybe like 6 months to a year, and after months and months and months of build up, WrestleMania was the boiling point. That is where it all the feud, the rivalry will culminate and end in this spectacular match at WrestleMania. And it was the payoff for the build up that we'd all been viewing for months upon months upon months, following the storyline to its a grand finish at WrestleMania. And honestly, it's been so long since we've had a storyline in WWE where it built up to WrestleMania that we actually wanted to watch and was actually interesting. And the last one I can remember is probably Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker for the second time at Mania, and Rock and Cena. They did well enough with the first time they faced, but other than that, the feuds leading up to WrestleMania haven't been that great in recent times. But this feud, there was something really good about the Ronda and Becky and Charlotte feud. It came out of nowhere, but it was spectacular. I mean, you had all the pieces, but the match itself, the whole match and the thing around it just felt very underwhelming for the rivalry that built up to that point. Like, let me go back to the beginning of it, right? We had Ronda Rousey come in, the baddest woman on the planet, and she was doing well. She was good, she was good, but none was like crazy yet. She didn't have any good rivalry. And then, of course, Becky Lynch, we were watching her and everyone liked her, but she just couldn't get to the main event scene. And then that fateful day when I believe Becky and Sharon fell forward for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte beat Becky, I think. I'm trying to remember that far back, but basically, Becky was going to almost won the match, and then Charlotte ended up winning, and Becky got frustrated, attacked Charlotte, turned heel, which started this whole this push for Becky, this whole fan turn on Becky where fans are starting to get behind her in a big way. And as they went on, she eventually became the champion. And then Becky and Ronda would have to face her, I believe, at Night of Champions, was it? I believe. Champion versus champion. And Becky faded Raw, attacked Ronda. And I believe that is where she properly, where her character just went crazy, where her popularity just went through the roof. That night on Raw, where busted nose from Nia Jax, that is where her popularity just shot through the roof. And from that point on, everyone was anticipating the Ronda and Becky match. But of course, as we know, Becky got injured and she couldn't face Ronda. She had to relinquish the title. And everyone was disappointed for a while. But Charlotte was slowly becoming a great heel in her own right as well. She was always a good heel, but they were going full on with her now. And this dynamic between Ronda, Charlotte and Becky, it was very fascinating. But the weird thing is that more and more as Becky's character kept going in this heelish route, the fans started like her more, and she started becoming, let's be fair, the closest thing we've ever had to a female Austin. The pretty much closest thing we've ever had, right? And then, as the feud went on and Becky came back, it reignited the whole storyline, winning the Rumble and all that to face Ronda. And, they messed up a couple of times. She wins the Rumble, but she has to beat Charlotte again because she wouldn't stop causing trouble. You're being suspended. This hasn't been a perfect build-up, mind you. There's been some fuck-ups here and there. But overall, it's probably the best rivalry we've had in a long time. And then Ronda eventually started to go heel because she just got sick of the fans booing her. She came, and this is why this is so perfect, because each woman in this match had a reason for hating the other two. Let me try to do my best to sell why this match is so big, right? You have Ronda Rousey, the baddest woman on the planet. Probably the most legitimate female athlete to ever step in WWE in terms of being able to kick your ass. UFC fighter, probably the most dominant female UFC fighter in history. In WWE, the Raw champion. Then you have Charlotte. Charlotte, basically born to be great in WWE, Ric Flair's daughter. And she managed to fight and claw her way to being a great superstar in her own right, not just being in the shadow of her father. She became, as she called it, the queen of WWE. Then you Becky Lynch, the superstar from humble beginnings, who was trying to fight her way to the top, and she eventually did, and the fans just got behind her in a big way, kind of like the working class man, but now the working class woman in Becky's case. And they all hate her for a specific reason. Ronda hates Becky because she kept attacking her and never stopped, and she got sick of the fact that the fans were getting behind Becky, who was doing all this bad shit, and were booing Ronda when she was trying to be respectful, polite, trying to do the right thing, and she got frustrated and said, "Screw this! I know I can destroy. I know you destroy these women if I choose to easily." And she said, "Screw it, I'm done pretending. You want to boo me? I'm just going to be the bitch then." And then you got Becky, who was frustrated of always being seen as second fiddle to him. Like to Ronda Rousey, everyone believes there's no chance Becky could beat Ronda. And then of course with Charlotte, everyone believes Becky's been in Charlotte's shadow for years now. And Becky's frustrated with being seen as just the second place, being the backup, not being the one in the spotlight. Then Charlotte is frustrated at the two of them because she believes she is the queen, that she is the alpha female in WWE. And Ronda comes in and now all the attention's on her, that she's the main woman in WWE and not Charlotte Flair. And of course she's frustrated with Becky because all the fans are behind Becky, who she believes that Becky would be nowhere near where she is now if it wasn't for her helping her along the way. If it wasn't for their friendship, Sarah believes Becky would be nothing. And she is so frustrated that the fans are behind her more than her. And there's just this great dynamic between the three of them. They all have reasons for not liking each other. They all have a stake in this game, in this match. They all have a reason why they want to prove that they are the best, that they are better than the other two women in the match. And with all that build-up, and you all this great build-up through the great promos, the great brawls, and all this build-up, right? And one of the best going home segments ever before WrestleMania, when you had Charlotte, Ronda and Becky all getting arrested trying to fight each other. Then in the parking lot, windows being kicked in, Ronda driving the car into the back of another, Becky and Ronda kicking each other in the back of a squad car, a cop car. It was really good. There was so much great stuff. And honestly, the match just didn't live up to all that great build-up. There was so much going into this match. People were hyped for this match. The first ever women's main event of Mania. 3 great women wrestlers battling out. A storyline that was good. Everyone liked every character in it. Every character in this match was great. None of them were really the good guy. Becky was the closest thing, but they all had their heelish moments, you know. There wasn't, and the thing is, any one of them could have won. Obviously Becky was the favourite, but any one of them could have walked out and it would have been believable. And personally, I think, I always thought that, ever since we announced this was a triple threat match, I always thought it should have been the Hell in a Cell. Because back when I was growing up watching Hell in a Cell to me was always the match that people were going to when there was something big on the line, or when two wrestlers just hate each other so much they wanted to mutilate and destroy each other, just end each other, and the best way to do it was to be locked in a cell where they could just demolish the other person. And with the build up, this rivalry had with the women hating each other, despising the other two, and wanted to prove that they were dominantly the best woman out of those 3. A Hell in a Cell match would have been perfect, because not only would it have made the match even grander in scale, you would have had a triple threat women's match in the main event of Mania with both women's titles on the line, and it's Hell in a Cell. That would have just added so much more to the match. And again, the match is good, but it wasn't amazing. It's not a match you're going to hear about in years' time saying how amazing it was. It was great. It was a great moment for women's wrestling, and I'm sure a lot of guys out there who reviewing are going to do the politically correct thing and say it was amazing. It was a great moment for Becky in women's wrestling, which it was. But if the match was greater in scale, like that Hell in a Cell triple threat match, it would have made the occasion even more spectacular. And that frustrates me the most, that this rivalry deserved a match of that calibre, an amazing match that would be remembered for years down the line. I know I rambled on a lot, but I just feel I hate when we drop the ball. They have so much potential, but they never fully go through with it. They never fully succeed in what they attempt to do, and it's fucking annoying, because this was probably the best build-up we've had in a long time. Maybe the best build-up we'll ever have again for years, and they squandered it a bit. Now, mind you, Becky comes off looking like a star in this. Sarah looked great, but the match isn't going to be remembered as a great match. It'll just be like, and that was a nice moment. Becky winning the titles, that was great. But that's all it'll be. It's not going to be like a WrestleMania classic, and I find that very sad, especially because they had such a great rivalry and build up to it. And also the entrances, they got very lazy with that. Triple H comes out in a Mad Max looking entrance. It looks awesome. But you don't give the 3 main event women in the first ever women's main event match a good entrance. Charlotte was the closest we had to this. Where she came in the helicopter, took off the jacket, put on the robe, red carpet, perfect. Although when she came out to the ring, I would have had even more. I would have had paparazzi around her. I would have had them roll out another big red carpet going all the way down to the ring. It sounds ridiculous, but it would just add to the whole character. With Ronda, the band, it sounded okay, but it felt like they were not that special. Like the stage was okay, but I would have had the center stage be a lot more visible. Just really add to the spectacle of the band playing live for Ronda. Maybe have some flames coming out the side of the ramp or something, just to add that physical flair. Then Becky gets on. The biggest star the most popular wrestler in this match, and she just comes down in a normal entrance, just walks out, and it's like, really? That's it. No special entrance for Becky, the man, the person who you basically had to change this match around to put in, because over her popularity, and she just walks down to the ring, no special entrance. Couldn't come out in a squad in like a cop car or something just to add something to the entrance. No, like WrestleMania in the main event, we always expect these cool entrances for the wrestlers, but we got barely anything in this match, and that's another thing they dropped the ball in. You don't need these things, but they add to the spectacle of the match. They add to the physical flair, no pun intended, of the match. And when you have them included, it just makes the whole spectacle more. It's grand to have good wrestling, but you need the other elements around it to really make this a memorable occasion, which this match should have been. Again, the match was good. I just wish it was more, and honestly, I found it very underwhelming. I was expecting craziness in this match. Honestly, I thought the Asuka, Charlotte and Becky match for the SmackDown title, I think a pay-per-view or two before WrestleMania, was much better. But that's all I gotta say. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it got you to think about what you really thought of the match, and I'll see you guys next time.